She, too, was the daughter of Anu, but evidently not by Antu, and therein lay another rule of succession. Scholars have wondered in years past why both Abraham and Isaac advertised the fact that their respective wives were also their sisters, a puzzling claim in view of the biblical prohibition against sexual relations with a sister. But as the legal documents were unearthed at Mari and Nuzi, it became clear that a man could marry a half-sister. Moreover, when all the children of all the wives were considered, the son born of such a wife, being 50% more of the pure seed than a son by an unrelated wife, was the legal heir, whether or not he was the firstborn son. This, incidentally, led in Mari and Nuzi to the practice of adopting the preferred wife as a sister in order to make her son the unchallenged legal heir. It was of such a half-sister, Ninhursag, that Enki sought to have a son. She, too, was of the heavens, having come to earth in early his times. Several texts state that when the gods were dividing earth's domains among themselves, she was given the land of Dilmun, a pure place, a pure land, a place most right. A text named by the scholars Enki and Ninhursag, a paradise myth, deals with Enki's trip to Dilmun for conjugal purposes. Ninhursag, the text repeatedly stresses, was alone unattached, a spinster. Though in later times she was depicted as an old matron, she must have been very attractive when she was younger, for the text informs us unabashedly that, when Enki neared her, the sight of her caused his penis to water the dikes, instructing that they be left alone, and poured the semen in the womb of Ninhursag. She took the semen into the womb, the semen of Enki, and then, after the 9 months of womanhood, she gave birth at the bank of the waters. But the child was a daughter. Having failed to obtain a male heir, Enki then proceeded to make love to his own daughter. He embraced her, he kissed her, and poured the semen into the womb. But she, too, bore him a daughter. Enki then went after his granddaughter, and made her pregnant too, but once again the offspring was a female. Determined to stop these efforts, Ninhursag put a curse on him, whereby Enki, having eaten some plants, became mortally sick. The other gods, however, forced Ninhursag to remove the curse. While these events had great bearing on divine affairs, other tales pertaining to Enki and Ninhursag have great bearing on human affairs, for, according to the Sumerian text, man was created by Ninhursag following processes and formulas devised by Enki. She was the chief nurse, the one in charge of medical facilities. It was in that role that the goddess was called an Lady Life. Some scholars read and adapted the model man of Enki, the biblical Adama, or Adam. The double meaning of the Sumerian T also raises biblical parallels. For T could mean both life and rib, so that Nintis's name meant both Lady of Life and Lady of the Rib. The biblical Eve, whose name meant life, was created out of Adam's rib, so Eve, too, was in a way a Lady of Life, and a Lady of the Rib. As giver of life to gods and man alike, Ninhursag was spoken of as the mother goddess. She was nicknamed Mamu, the forerunner of our Mom or Mama, and her symbol was the cut of the tool used in antiquity by midwives to cut the umbilical cord after birth. Enlil, Enki's brother and rival, did have the good fortune to achieve such a rightful heir by his sister Ninhursag. The youngest of the gods upon earth, who were born in the heavens, his name was Lord, who completes the foundation. He was the heroic son of Enlil, who went forth with net and rays of light to battle for his father, the avenging sun, who launched bolts of light. His spouse Bayu was also a nurse, or a doctor. Her epithet was Lady, who the dead brings back to life. The ancient portraits of Ninurta showed him holding a unique weapon, no doubt the very one that could shoot bolts of light. The ancient texts hailed him as a mighty hunter, a fighting god renowned for his martial abilities. But his greatest heroic fight was not in behalf of his father, but for his own sake. It was a wide-ranging battle with an evil god named Zeus, and it involved no less a prize and the leadership of the gods on earth, for Zeus had illegally captured the insignia and objects Enlil had held as chief of the gods. The texts describing these events are broken at the beginning, and the story becomes legible only from the point when Zeus arrives at the Eker, the temple of Enlil. He is apparently known and of some rank, for Enlil welcomes him, entrusting to him the guarding of the entrance to his shrine. But the evil Zu was to repay trust with betrayal, for it was the removal of the Enlilship, the seizing of the divine powers, that he conceived in his heart. To do so, Zu had to take possession of certain objects, including the magical Tablet of Destinies. The wily Zu seized his opportunity when Enlil undressed and went into the pool for his daily swim, leaving his paraphernalia unattended at the entrance of the sanctuary which he had been viewing. Zu awaits the start of day. As Enlil was washing with pure water, his crown having been removed and deposited on the throne, Zu seized the Tablet of Destinies in his hands, took away the Enlilship. As Zu fled in his mutranslated name, but indicating a flying machine to a faraway hideaway, the consequences of his bold act were beginning to take effect. Suspended were the divine formulas, stillness spread all over, silence prevailed. The sanctuary's brilliance was taken off. Father Enlil was speechless. The gods of the land gathered one by one at the news. The matter was so grave that even Anu was informed at his heavenly abode. He reviewed the situation and concluded that Zu must be apprehended so that the formulas could be restored. Turning to the gods, his children, Anu asked, "Which of the gods will smite Zu? His name shall be greatest of all." Several gods known for their valor were called in, but they all pointed out that having taken the Tablet of Destinies, Zu now possessed the same powers as Enlil, so that he who opposes him becomes like clay. At this point, Ea had a great idea: why not call upon Ninurta to take up the hopeless fight? The assembled gods could not have missed Ea's ingenious mischief. Clearly, the chances of the succession falling to his own offspring stood to increase if Zu were defeated. Likewise, he could benefit if Ninurta were killed in the process. To the amazement of the gods, Ninhursag, in this text called Ninma, Great Lady, agreed. Turning to her son Ninurta, she explained to him that Zu robbed not only Enlil but Ninurta, too, of the Enlilship. With shrieks of pain I gave birth, she shouted, and it was she who made certain for my brother, and for Anu the continued kingship of heaven. So that her pains not be in vain, she instructed Ninurta to go out and fight to win. Launch thy offensive, capture the fugitive Zu. Let thy terrifying offensive rage against him. Slit his throat. Vanquish Zu. Let thy 7 winds go against him. Cause the entire whirlwind to attack him. Let thy radiance go against him. Let thy winds carry his wings to a secret place. Let sovereignty return to Eker. Let the divine formulas return to the Father who begot thee. The various versions of the epic then provide thrilling descriptions of the battle that ensued. Ninurta shot arrows at Zu, but the arrows could not approach Zu's body while he bore the Tablet of Destinies of the gods in his hand. The launched weapons were stopped in the midst of their flight. As the inconclusive battle wore on, Ea advised Ninurta to add a tilum to his weapons and shoot it into the pinions, or small cogwheels, of Zu's wings. Following this advice, and shouting wing to win, Ninurta shot the tilum at Zu's pinions. Thus hit, the pinions began to scatter, and the wings of Zu fell in a swirl. Zu was vanquished, and the Tablets of Destiny returned to Enlil. Who was Zu? Was he, as some scholars hold, a mythological bird? Evidently he couldn't fly. But so can any man today, who takes a plane, or any astronaut, who goes up in a spaceship. Ninurta, too, could fly, as skillfully as Zu, and perhaps better. But he himself was not a bird of any kind, as his many depictions, by himself or with his consort Bayu, also called Giula, make abundantly clear. Rather, he did his flying with the aid of a remarkable bird, which was kept at his sacred precinct, the Girsu, in the city of Lagash. Nor was Zu a bird. Apparently he had at his disposal a bird in which he could fly away and to hiding. It was from within such birds that the sky battle took place between the two gods. And there can be no doubt regarding the nature of the weapon that finally smote Zu's bird. Called Til in Sumerian and Tilum in Assyrian, it was written pictorially thus, and it must have meant then what Til means nowadays in Hebrew missile. Zu, then, was a god, one of the gods who had reason to scheme at usurpation of the Enlilship, a god whom Ninurta, as the legitimate successor, had every reason to fight. Was he perhaps Marty UK, son of the pure mountain, his firstborn, by